So, how does the rich really make their money? How do they do it today? How did they do it in the past? By hard work. That's the conclusion. Wealthy households tend to have 4 times the amount of full-time workers than poorer households.
Yeah, I think they're intentionally misleading people about the nature of the American economy. What's really driving inequality isn't so much inherited money, it's marriage. Compared to, say, the 1950s, early 1960s, a wealthy man today is much, much more likely to be married to a high-income woman.
Well, Bill, your sketch just now of why income inequality exists didn't really take us to the fundamental point, which is that it exists as a function of the genius of the American enterprise. No sane American would want to live in a society where everyone has an identical income or the same height or face. That's not the United States of America. That would be the Twilight Zone.
But whether it's a CEO or a golf star, that's how capitalism rewards and punishes. Some people are better, smarter, harder working, or luckier than others. Numerous studies show the greatest predictor of poverty is not income inequality.
This needs to be a real moral crusade. That's how you turn around societies. That's how you change values. And this is a value-laden fight. It is much more values than it is economics, interestingly. Because as I said, you can raise taxes all you want and try to give that money to somebody else, so long as they're still born in a home where the dad is never there and the mom is struggling to make ends meet. You can't redistribute enough money to pull them out of poverty and to get them through what they're going through. It's a very different America than we were before. Some things need to move back.
The broader point, Bill, and this is something the president neglects when he talks about this, inequality is a trend across the decades, across all presidencies, across every developed, advanced economy. It has to do with deep trends in our world, globalization, automation. So there's no way it's going to be stopped. And when President Obama or Bill de Blasio says somehow they're going to end social and economic inequality, it's a pipe dream, and they can only do damage by trying to do it.
The opposite of income inequality is income equality. And when you believe, Neil, that you need to use the levers of power of the government in order to coerce equality like that, that's what communism is all about.
Under President Obama, at least the first 4 years where we had, from the census, by the way, we have income inequality widening. So he hasn't, whatever he's done, spent $4 or $5 trillion in wealth redistribution, it ain't working.
There's 2 things, I think, going on. One is that when the economy is bad, it's the people with the least power who can't protect themselves. So the most vulnerable get hurt. And that's why, that I think is why the gap between rich and poor widens when catastrophe hits. But the other thing is that a polarized political system, a system in which one party's been pulled way off to the right, is not able to cope with the difficulties of the economy. They, you sort of ask, why we know how to fix this. That's the theme of my book. We know how to fix this, but we've managed, a lot of us have managed, a lot of important people have managed to forget. Why have they managed to forget? Because admitting that the government can fix a depression is also admitting that the government can do good things. And if you admit that the government could do things, then you might think, well, maybe then we have to tax rich people to pay for those good things. And so this kind of anti-government, hard line, markets are God, the rich have the answers, has left us psychologically, intellectually incapacitated in the face of this depression that we're in.